Downtown rolling past Capitol Square, Chesterfield grind and everybody's there. Headlights moving only all the arrows. Rich has your back while the morning rolls. Wake up with Rich and win the day. Don't spend your morning playing catch up. Richmond's morning news keeps you on your way. 8 a.m. now in the day.
Boom. Here we go. 8:04 this morning on Richmond's Morning News. It's News Radio WRVA. Scott the Independent has people buzzing. Now people are starting to hit me up on the James River Air text line 833-804-1140. Who is the most trusted politician? Okay, I'm not going to dodge your question, but I had to think about this for a minute. Is it who do I most align with where their views agree with me, or who is the one that I think is going to be the most honest broker? I think that's when we say trust. So I just came out and gave you, I just say Donald Trump. Well, then I'd just be a partisan and nobody would take that serious. So I had to think about this for just a minute. Who closely aligns with me that I trust? Because I've been burned before. I believed in Dan Crenshaw, then I saw what happened when he got into office. That's why the people of Texas showed him the door. I don't want to be a skeptic, and I don't want to be jaded, and I want to believe they're good people in DC. And I think individually there are, but I think when they get together in the swamp, something goes amiss. And, people, an individual person it could be brilliant, but he could be surrounded by people and become an idiot. And I think that's what happens. You see this when you get in a crowd. How do crowds just go crazy? The individual people there are wonderful human beings. And then when they get in a crowd, that turns into a riot. It's that energy that takes over and we become something bigger than ourselves. So, not ducking you, but who would I trust? I'm going to say Mike Johnson. I think Mike Johnson is a legitimate person. I think John Kennedy. I trust John Kennedy because he calls out everybody. But I don't want to be partisan on this as well. The one person that I'm really impressed with outside of our local politicians, I'll leave them out. I think John Fetterman is someone that I look at, and I wasn't a supporter of his. I wasn't sure about Dr. Oz, who ran against him, but John Fetterman, since he's got into D.C., has said what's in his heart, not what his party tells him. The other one that I'm going to tell you that I thought was pretty amazing was Kristen Sinema. So Kristen Sinema was the congressperson, was a senator, from Arizona that saved the filibuster. When the Democrats were like, we got to blow up the filibuster, she and Joe Manchin were the ones who stood up and said, no, we're not going to let you blow up this for your own this long-term thing we have in the Senate for our short-term goals. She was actually pushed out of the party because she stood up to the party. I think I trust her because she did what was right, what was not. She did what was right instead of what was good for her career. And then she gets somebody like Ruben Gallego. I don't know if you saw the story. He's the running mate of Eric Swalwell, who's now out. Now it turns out, and he's got aspirations. He's been sniffing around, thinking about running for president. Now he found out that he was tapping his campaign fund to pay for things like travel, Super Bowl tickets, and things like that. Came out over the weekend. So again, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's why you have to have someone in your life to keep you accountable. I've got plenty of people. I got family members that keep me accountable. I've got people I trust that keep me accountable. And when I get a little too big for my britches, they're always there to remind me that fame is fleeting and don't take yourself too seriously. And it served me well. I wish we had more people like that in Washington, D.C. So that's a great question. I appreciate it very, very much. Somebody else said, I trust Gil from Texas, Burchett from Tennessee, Kennedy from Louisiana, and Fetterman of Pennsylvania. All right, see, we're kind of aligned right there. I appreciate it. Let's get to Richmond's morning news brief this morning, shall we? All right, story number one. We have a budget in Virginia. We found someone to rob, somebody's piggy bank to rob, but hey, we got a budget.
Number one.
Virginia, we finally got a budget. Guess what paid the price when they chose to nudge it? They found a brand new piggy bank to raid. Now everybody's cheering for the deal they made.
All right, here's the deal they made. By the way, the governor hasn't come out and say, yay, we're going to sign this thing. So we'll wait to see when she signs it, because again, it's the, the 23rd. We got to get this done by the end of the month. Let's see. You'll get Increase standard deduction for income taxes from the current $87.50 for single filers, $17.50 for joint filers to $9,200 and $18,400. So you get a better standard deduction. Teachers are going to get an increase 4%. State employees get 3.5%. Super Dave, are you and I getting a raise anytime soon?
I better, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. We don't work for the state. Let's see. What else can we tell you? $150 million set aside to pay for the Affordable Care Act premiums that were slashed by Donald Trump. You know, the ones that were just temporary. We also now will allow municipalities to see if they want to levy a 1% surcharge on sales tax to fund more building. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. They're going to give us money, $15 million to tear down the Richmond Coliseum. And data centers. By the way, I asked a key member of the House of Delegates yesterday, does this mean we're done trying to take away that sales tax relief for the data centers? And he said, yeah, that's to be determined. I actually have that soundbite. I'll play you the whole thing coming up here on Richmond's Morning News. We'll talk with Tom Garrett, member of the House of Delegates, get his thought on what I saw yesterday, which, oh boy. Okay, here's story number 2. The U.S. is going to allow Iran to sell its oil on the open market. Hasn't happened in decades. That's story number 2.
Number 2.
Okay, the U.S. has had sanctions against Iran for all of their malfeasance for years and years and years. But as the talks go on and the 60-day clock is now ticking, Iran is going to be allowed, Scott Bessent announced yesterday, they can sell their oil on the open market worldwide and trade in dollars. That's a big deal. They've been having to discount their oil, sell it through all kinds of different, whoever wants to pay for it, but they weren't able to sell it in the open market. They use that ghost fleet that Russia uses, that they use to get to China. Well, now they can sell the open market. So a lot of people screaming, that's going to give them money. Donald Trump says, yeah, but that money will be controlled by us and could be used. It's only going to be used to pay farmers to feed the people. Then Iran comes out, you will not tell us how to use our money. We'll see what happens. But here's what I'll tell you. The price of oil will now go down dramatically because Venezuela's oil is now on the open market. Iran's oil is on the open market, which means that worldwide market has more of a supply. The price of oil will go down exponentially, in my opinion, very, very soon. We'll see what happens. 60 days. It's almost like we're watching two different movies. The administration says one thing, and then the Iranians, no, we will not do that. I don't know who's publicly posturing, but we'll keep an eye on that for you this morning here on Richmond's Morning News Brief. Story number 3, the city of Richmond now has a podcast.
Number 3.
Here are 6 steps to start a podcast with your smartphone, beginner edition. Step 1, you need to determine your show type. Is this going to be an interview-based show? Is it going to be a solo podcast? Are you going to have co-hosts or a group of friends? I'll make a full list in the future.
Well, it's pretty easy to start a podcast. There is no barrier to entry, and the city is doing it, but in conjunction with the Richmond Times-Dispatch. People at the richmonder.org weren't happy about that, but my big question is, do you trust a podcast that's hosted by the people that they're interviewing? This is an indictment on the city doing. There's a lot of people. Chesterfield County does. A lot of people do their own podcast. But the thing is, why do we do that? Why are we going directly to the people? Have we lost faith in our news institutions? And if we're going to go straight to the people, then who asks you the tough questions? Do you ask yourself your own tough questions? Hey, whatever happened to those P cards? What about the guy that used the P cards to buy a bunch of things from himself? Will that be addressed to the podcast, or is it PR spin? Big question we have this morning on Richmond's Morning News. Story number 4. You've heard of the Freshman 15. How about the FIFA 15 for the world?
Number 4.
Well, we talked about this with my cousin Hardy yesterday, our World Cup correspondent, because I'm not watching any of the games. He was talking about, the Americas, our food portions are so big. That's right. But now the people that are traveling here from around the world that are going to Buc-ee's, they're going to Longhorn Steakhouse, getting all the free biscuits. They're getting the free refills of soda. They're discovering something. Their Umbro shorts and their little little soccer shirts are kind of getting tight. They're wearing compression clothes, but not by choice. They're putting on 15 pounds of just eating like Americans. Hey, it's our gift to you. Obesity and diet. I'm diabetic, so I can. No, I better not say that joke. Anyway, it's our joke to you that you're going to go home a little bit bigger than you were.
1 minute to men's wellness.
The FIFA 15. All right, that's going to do it for our Richmond's Morning News Brief this morning here on Richmond's Morning News. All right, text message 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140, the number for you. Join us. Today's program is brought to you in part by Men's Wellness Centers. You know, when you mention my name when you call, I said, hey, I was listening to Rich on WRVA, Rich Herrera. He told me about this special that if I call in